Well, good Sunday morning, and thank you for watching Beyond the Headlines. We'll talk about a payback plan. The past wants its paycheck. A $20,000 salary boost from a reworded 2016 ordinance has 4 ex-council members lining up with demands for back pay. Well, the group includes former District 8 Representative Roberto Bali, former District 2 Representative Daisy Campos Rodriguez, and former District 1 and District 2 Representatives Rudy Gonzalez and Vidal Rodriguez. Now, their demands stem from an updated ordinance approved back in September of this year. That update set a base salary of $50,000 for council members and $75,000 for the mayor, roughly a 40% increase for current members. However, the interpretation of the original intent of the 2016 ordinance has sparked significant debate. But City Attorney Zone Wynn asserts that the city's stance is clear. The former council members' claims hold no merit.
Ordinance in 2016 was paid properly. It's just that now we have an ordinance change in 2024, and that goes forward. So their demands are retrospective. And that's why I do not believe that their claim has merit. What occurred in 2016, what was acceptable to the council members were paid out. Just that now, I brought it up. Do you want to be paid salaries and allowances? But if it's included, then you won't get allowances unless your allowances exceed your salaries. I've defended a lot of these cases, and on the flip side, I've won a lot of these cases, so I have the perspective to defend.
Well, City Council went into executive session Monday night, but no decision was announced, and that's where we begin this morning's discussion. And making up our panel is KGNS General Manager Luis Villarreal and KGNS political contributor Sergio Mora. Good morning, esteemed gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, did we not see this coming?
No, I didn't.
We did.
Just when you
We
think
did.
these guys can't get
Yeah.
any worse, any greedier, they come up with this crap. It's like, whoa, dude.
Wow. I mean, it's not bad enough that all the current council members got an immediate pay raise, but now all the back ones want their share of the pie as well.
Not all of them.
Not all
of
of
them,
them, which is
4
a
of them.
great point.
Thank you for
Which is a
clarifying
great
that.
point. It's
Yes,
the usual
absolutely.
suspects.
Absolutely.
The thing is, the current council members, along with the city attorney, thought they would be cued by saying it's an adjustment based on 2016.
And let's clarify, it's not all the council members,
Not
because
all,
there
yeah,
were
half
3
of
that
them,
voted
yeah.
against it. Yeah.
They were trying to
But,
be cute, like
yeah.
in 2016, like that's how we're gonna get an extra 20 grand. Well, these colmilludos said, oh, here we go.
want ours
us too.
too,
Like,
yeah.
based on
Hey,
your
it's the
little
holidays. We need
cute
some Christmas
little
shopping.
maneuvering, that means that we have a claim on it as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, ultimately, you do have to fault the current council members who opened up this can
Can
of
of
worms.
worms.
And the thing is,
They should have seen this coming. They really should have.
it's hard to see it coming. It's hard to, like, I never thought this was going to happen. You need to have really people that really have no shame.
Well,
and
yeah,
extreme greed.
And think about how, like, little schneisters, how can we get
Yes,
some more money?
yeah.
How can we,
And
I mean,
at the same time, Mindy, the city has announced that for people having to boil their water for 2 weeks, they're going to get $10 rebate. And we don't have money to replace the sewage system. I mean, the water system
right.
that's causing all these things.
yeah.
Yet-
But these guys,
Yeah.
and just for our
Yeah.
viewers, they want $20,000 for every year that they served. So a couple of them served for 8 years, so that would be $160,000
Yeah.
each. So,
That's quite a payday.
that is.
What would
you
you
have to take
say
taxes.
if former employees came to you as like, hey, well, current employees got a raise, so that means we deserve
we
that.
need back pay too.
Back pay too.
It would be laughable in this case. I mean, again, listen, from a legal standpoint, you have to look at everything. And I think you're right. The fact that instead of going for a pay raise,
Yeah.
clear cut,
Yeah.
they thought the people that wanted to institute this new agreement, they thought that, okay, if we just modify and adjust this, we can get away with something. Whether they got away, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and talk about whether they should have or
They
not,
did, yeah.
would have. But that is the cause of this, because now it's saying, okay, so this is not new. This should have been the case. You're interpreting something that was back there. So I think there may be some sort of argument.
Legally?
There might be. I don't know. I think from a perception
Political,
political perspective, from a
Human
from a
decency
perspective,
perspective.
Morals.
Yeah.
from it's like,
Yeah.
dude, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know with
You
what.
know, I think, I know what you're trying to say. I think that the whole idea of being a public servant with these four individuals who at one point or another told everybody when they were running for election that they were running because they wanted to serve the people. It was their calling. They just felt it in their soul that they wanted to serve the people. Well, this is how they serve the
reality,
people,
no, they're
by
serving
coming
themselves.
back. Yeah, exactly. By serving themselves with a whole lot of taxpayer money.
So and one of them, Ms. Campos,
Daisy, yeah.
did she actually serve?
1 year.
She did.
served 1 year.
She served 1 year.
And it counts, even
and
though
then-
she
and-
didn't.
and
She
then-
wasn't supposed to be there.
And then they found voter fraud, and she had to give up that seat. So
Right.
it's a person that was taken out because of
Yeah.
voter
So how
fraud.
ironic that now she's asking for another 20,000 after she got a whole year's of salary when she shouldn't have anyway, because
her husband would get 180.
160,
160,000.
right? So the little pair are together on this
And
one.
all of them, I mean, it goes to the hundreds of thousands, like close to $1 million. I think I heard under $1 million. But this goes to the current council saying, you know what, if we put it before the people, if we go through the regular process, if we hear public testimony, if we have debate on council, it's not going to look good for us and it might not pass. If we put it on a referendum for the voters, it's definitely not going to pass.
Absolutely.
So let's direct the city attorney to finagle this legal route that we could get our money, and this is the result.
Is it possible that this backfires and results in them backing off of the
lawsuit?
Not the lawsuit. The current council members.
Oh, I don't think
Well,
so.
they
Yeah,
put it,
I think they've had
the mayor-
opportunity to do so. The mayor's had opportunity to veto it a few times,
And he didn't.
and he has not.
And he
So
didn't.
I think they're set to get, or they're currently already getting the pay raise. So.
Exactly. And I mean, you have, the thing is that these people know that come election time, they will get reelected.
I was just going to say, if any of these four plan on running for office anytime in the future, you know, what a great way to run a opposition to run against them, because how do you show that you are truly in it to serve the people when you do something like this?
Okay, so
would-
playing
you
devil's
would think.
advocate, though, playing devil's advocate, let's remove ourselves a little bit from this particular situation, but public service or not, is a person who was wronged not entitled to say something?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so if these
compensated.
people feel that they were wronged and that they are entitled to this, why should they not ask for it? I'm not saying that they are. All I'm saying is, let them ask.
Yeah,
But what does it tell you when you know that we need so many services? Our
Yeah,
water infrastructure is
exactly.
just rock bottom
Yeah,
in this
but
city.
that way of thinking,
but
when
you don't care about that at all. You just want your money.
What do you say to the city employees who
make $20,000,
who make
but
20,
these
30,
people,
40,000,
these
have
people
to
just,
clock in at 8 and leave at
Exactly.
6 every day? For these guys who most of them, I personally know that it was not a full-time job for
Oh,
these
for sure,
guys.
for sure.
They're gonna run
Yeah.
away with $1 million, man. Like
Yeah.
that is insane. Yeah.
All I'm saying is that, just because you're a public servant doesn't mean you're not supposed to get paid fair.
And
That's
that
all
is correct.
That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is,
Please.
I'm not
Yeah.
agreeing or disagreeing with this. All I'm saying is that the fact that you're a public servant, which somebody said the other day that term should not even exist anymore because there's no such
Definitely
thing.
not here.
So there's not such thing. I think it was actually your friend Senator Cruz that said that, or somebody. But you are supposed to get compensated,
Yes.
compensated fairly
Yes.
and appropriately.
Yes, Luis.
And if
For
there
the
was
part-time job that they do, they
whatever,
were
but for
compensated fairly.
For whatever,
But like you have to also take into consideration is now with the new setup, their base salary is 50,000 plus they could expense up to 70,000.
Exactly.
you have a lot of the major cities in the state and the country who council members make far, far less
For
than
bigger
that.
cities
For
with larger
bigger
budgets.
cities that don't have a water bowl notice every few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's. I mean,
I'm
we
not going
came
to
out
sit
in,
here and defend them. No, I'm not.
we came out in Forbes for having like the highest paid. This was back like a few years ago for having the highest paid city manager in the country, like Laredo, Texas. And I mean, I remember when that happened. When the thing is this, you're the boss here. Everybody who needs a raise has to go through you or it doesn't happen.
Correct.
These guys have no bosses. The people are the bosses. You know
Correct.
what I'm saying? So there are mechanisms for there to be public input for these kind of situations where like, okay, you want more of our taxpayer money
Exactly.
for you? Like money that's supposed to go to water, streets, security, all that, you want $1 million just because?
Tree lighting ceremonies.
For the
Yeah, well-
infinite, those things.
We're going to talk about that right
Then you open it up to the public.
That was your
you
cue,
get public
too.
testimony, you vote, you get votes, but they're like, okay, you know what? Hey guys, you think we deserve it? Yeah, we do. All right, let's vote
Let's
for it.
go for it. Let's go for it.
Yeah, let's go. We got it.
Yeah, exactly.
City attorney dried up. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And now this is
Definitely.
what happened.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, bridge tolls might be on the rise, but the city says it's a change worth the price. We're going to break that down for you and what the industry leaders are saying about that, whether or not that's a line they want to cross. When we come back, stay with us. Well, it could soon cost more to cross Laredo bridges, but officials are hoping that today's toll will bring a better tomorrow. City officials argue that the funds are crucial for long-delayed bridge expansion projects and maintaining the Port Authority Department. Mayor Dr. Victor Trevino emphasized Laredo's status as the nation's busiest port, noting that while the current $3.50 toll is in line with others, the city's high activity level warrants an increase. Yet others say they're open to it, but it needs careful consideration.
This is a very sensitive topic and sensitive monies that are coming out of Laredo's pretty much golden goose, but we can't let that get out of control. It's a slippery slope, but very interesting that we're talking about this because the difference would be made up for infrastructure, expansion, bridge, things, necessities that they need that we might be falling short with right now. So, but at the same time, we still have to stay competitive with the other ports. We cannot allow ourselves to just charge whatever we want because then that will deter a lot of traffic from Laredo.
Well, as for the next step, City Council forwarded the proposal to the Port of Entry Committee for their evaluation of that. And I think Mr. Laurel hit the nail on the head. You have to stay competitive. If we don't stay competitive because our prices are higher, then we will lose our edge and folks will just go someplace else.
Yeah, and I mean, you also have to take into account all of the people that cross on a daily basis for work, and those are the people that could least afford these increases, because if you do it every day, the amount adds up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And another thing, I mean, okay, yeah, we do need, obviously, to maintain and expand our trade infrastructure, but at the same time, the revenue from these very important bridges goes to the city of Laredo coffers, something that other cities who don't have our status as the #1 trade port don't have. We have extra millions and millions and millions of dollars that other cities don't get simply because we are the #1 trade hub. And that money, for all these past years, should have been used for that reason. But the city puts it back into their budget and uses it just like any other revenue instead of setting it aside for what Rick just described right now.
So it is unfortunate that, once again, we sit here and we can't talk about the increase itself, because you can argue for it or against it, and you can find points of valid points on either side.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Sergio, and oh my gosh, that it is unfortunate that it is historically a mismanaged process in which we have misallocated funds and we're spending money that from a revenue source that we are lucky to have
Blessed, yeah.
and blessed to have, and we have not, done a good job in the past. And so I would like to see our city government streamline the way they're spending their money before they talk about bringing more money in. And it's the same problem that I have with government in general about raising taxes, is why don't we start by cutting fat first and then raise taxes?
And I just want to mention,
Okay, so-
going back to what Sergio said, it is $30 million, Sergio, of what you just said, from the bridge revenue funds that goes into the city's fund. So from the bridge right now, they'll take the $30 million and put it into the general coffers.
I've always understood that there is a capped percentage of bridge revenue that goes into the general fund. I don't think the entirety goes to the general fund.
30 million of it does.
They have
But that's
operating
it.
expenses, obviously.
Right,
all of that,
obviously, but there is a cap. But be that as it may, the reality here is that, again, on one side, you're asking to increase revenues for our government and for our operation of our city, but on the other side, you're spending money on things that don't make a hell of a lot of sense, and you have, unfortunately, having to go back to our previous segment, former city council members asking for $1 million and lighting trees every 2 other blocks, and
Eight tree lighting ceremonies.
And every council member has its own party
And discretionary funds that are $1 million.
And then we get, we can't fix our pipes, and the answer is not give me more money. If that was that is the answer. Obviously, it's the easiest answer. The hard answer is to look at your operation and see, okay, so what are we doing? And where can we be more efficient so that we don't need to do this, so that we can stay competitive?
I think
Now, competitiveness also means that we need to have better infrastructure, and you need money to do that.
Well, yeah, but you have other cities that are not going to raise their rates, and they don't have the revenues from their bridge traffic than we do. So meaning that it's mismanaged. If not, all of the cities would be doing it. And I mean, I think we need a Department of Government Efficiency for Laredo, man. Like, I don't agree with Trump and a lot of things.
Elon Musk said he needs to come to
man,
Laredo.
that's a great idea. Let's
You
get
want to bring Elon to Laredo?
Yeah, man, let's get a committee of businessmen together.
You already pulled out of Monterrey. You knew that, right?
Yeah, I saw that. But yeah, I mean, the spending that goes on is insane. These tree lighting ceremonies, Mindy, that you, Luis, that you brought up.
I didn't bring it up.
How is that not political campaigning? If the city can do with one big
Which is
tree
supposed
lighting
to be
ceremony,
the Sames Auto Arena. Navidad Fest is the official one.
Exactly.
But still, everybody has to have their own.
If every city council member is having a tree lighting ceremony when there was already a big one, that's political campaigning.
now,
That's the councilman saying,
But do they cost money?
Of
Yes.
course they cost
Okay, I'm
money.
just asking. Wow, don't bite my head off.
Ain't nothing for
It's not
free,
free?
baby.
No free? There's
Well,
no
not only
free?
that, you've got the internal costs. You've got the city employees that have to go out and set it up. It's Parks and Rec,
Yeah.
and their
Well, those people are
employees
getting
that are out
paid
there.
anyway.
Yeah, but it's overtime because those happenings are after hours, after 5 o'clock.
And you got
so
the
now you're
trees
paying
and the
overtime.
lights and the goodies and the gifts
Yeah, and the
little
free hot
trains
chocolate
and the music
and-
and the todo guato.
And and we only bring those up
Sound
because that's
system.
just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there's a lot of other fat that can be cut. Back to your point, Luis, that is just not being
but
cut.
it seems like every time we look at how do we bring more revenue. Yeah, and that's great.
And going back to charging the folks more headed back into Nuevo Laredo or Mexico, you're trying to improve the downtown area. You want it to become robust once again and the tourists to come back like they did back in our heyday. But you're going to charge them more to go back home. Why are they going to come? Just go to McAllen.
Yeah.
They've got good stuff there too, and it's going to be cheaper if they raise our prices. And at the end of the day, you're right. It's what counts is what's in your wallet because everybody's on a budget. So that's how I plan my vacation.
Of
What
course.
can I
You
afford?
plan your vacation based on how much you pay for
I mean,
toll
you
roads?
No, how much I can afford. And if there is something that's going to cost me a little bit more, then I've got to look elsewhere if I don't have the money.
Yeah, you have, big issues in the city. You have the police and the fire unions lobbying council members, giving them extremely large campaign contributions for them to get salary increases higher than the rest of the country. I mean, that's just one of the aspects of like how the politics here is warped.
He's changed.
In terms how the politics here is warped, and that sort of greedy political mindset of like, okay, you give me money, I'll do what you want. You know, give me my salary increase, give me my campaign contributions, and I'll hire all these people. All of that causes so much excess spending. Then we don't have money for what we need, which is the water system, which is our trade infrastructure, et cetera. So we end up saying, okay, where can we find the money? Well, let's tax these people that are coming back and forth. Yeah.
Charge them more for water.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's the one thing that we cannot stop thinking about. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. Well, it's the one thing that our panelists cannot stop thinking about from this past week. Sergio.
Well, Spotify every year comes out with this feature called Spotify Wrapped, and it lists your top songs that you listen to, artists, top podcasts. I didn't know about it. They told me about it this year, and I did it. I was very surprised that number one, my top guy was a reggaetonero. I had no idea that I listened to J Balvin.
What the heck is the
much.
Mexican OT?
There's two rappers from Texas that are doing really, really good stuff. That's the Mexican OT from Bay City, and Big X the Plug from Dallas. They are nationally just blowing up. Check them out if you can.
This is yours.
This is mine. Yeah, this is my rap. Wow. The podcast, I've talked about some of them here. Real Dictators, really good. Kill Tony, comedy podcast filmed in Austin, is really great. The Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh, you talked about the Real Narcos.
Yeah, that one's really good. I mean, I recommend you guys check out all of these. Kill Tony, if you haven't checked it out, get ready to laugh out loud. Check out.
I did my Spotify thing, my top 10. Wow, it's very intriguing with the way the algorithms work, and I just feel like music is the window of your soul.
Love to see yours.
And they were very spot on, you know.
So
I had some 80s though.
So who were your top ones?
Top ones were Olivia Rodrigo, but then I also had ABBA.
Oh my
I had the
God.
Hollies from way back then, and I had Pet Shop Boys, Erasure. I was all over the place. So.
Wow. So, you know, bowling is something that I've always enjoyed doing. I've never been very good at it, but so yesterday we had an opportunity to take. We were with the sales group here at the station, and we went on a work retreat, and then we finished it off with a little afternoon of bowling. Oh my God, 63!
What?
I bowled a 63
In your first three frames.
No, sir. That was my total. I am the worst bowler ever.
Damn.
You know,
Like my little niece, who's like six, bowled higher than
So
that.
the funny part is that we had two teams of 6, and we had 2 team captains, but there were only other 2 men. And so I said, we cannot both men be on the same. Well, the captain that chose me says, I don't want you. The other guys can keep you.
You're like that elementary kid who doesn't get picked
Yeah,
for
right.
teams
For
on dodgeball.
63. So I need bowling lessons.
That is too funny. Okay, so my one thing, I want gentlemen to remember this color for 2025. You're going to start seeing it everywhere. Mocha Mousse.
That's a color.
Mocha Mousse is the 2025 color of the year. They are anticipating that everything is going to be this color next year. And all I have to say, it's brown. It's brown. I don't understand why this color. Now, I'll take the color in coffee. It looks delicious. You know, let me sip some, mocha mousse chocolate or coffee. But really, I can't see this in my house. I can't see a car. I can't see anything in this. So I don't understand who came up with it. But mocha mousse is the color of the year. So,
Pantone.
anyway,
Mocha mousse.
yeah, Pantone in case you want
Soon to come to a wall near you.
Right. So you can go eat the wall. Okie doke. Well, that does it for this issue of Beyond the Headlines. We'll see you next Sunday for another episode of Beyond the Headlines. Have a fantastic week.